what we're going to be doing next week. So feel free to invite whoever you want to that. And we would love if anyone is interested in helping in the March coaching event. If anyone wants to and has any desire to be a part of that, we'd love to have more people in there helping with it. So I'm not going to spend too much time doing this because we all kind of know we've got our personal promo codes. We've got the collagen as the supplement of the month to try to get some extra volume under you for the new Success Club points rewards. So please know that you can be talking about products more and get some products sold, you guys, because there are some amazing things that we have access to, and it's not just total solution packs. So we can obviously still sell those, but the fact that we can get the total or the Success Club points in other ways now is really exciting as well. But without further ado, I am going to welcome Stephanie Davies to the call. Like I said, some of us may know Steph from forever. She has been our upline for a very long time, and we are so excited to have her time and energy tonight. She's actually who got people like Courtney Davies and Alyssa Pajos excited about coaching. And so you guys know the type of leadership that they have seen. And we've just been so lucky to have you any chance we can get you, Steph. So we're really excited about tonight's call and the topic of confidence. We all know that confidence can be very much like this, and things can happen in our lives that can make it feel like we're not feeling confident in ourselves. So I'm hoping that with the start of the new year, start of a new month, Steph can give us some amazing tips. I did her masterclass last year, and I really wanted her to cover some of that tonight. So Steph, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. It's so funny whenever I'm with partners now. I was going to say coaches. It's like I drop right back into who I was 10 years. This is my 10th year with Body now, Beachbody. And so if you've been in my world for a long time, you know, my journey has had a lot of different twists and turns. And so I'm excited to kind of rewind for a second and introduce myself for those of you who don't know me, and then give you some tips, walk you through some processes that can help you with your confidence. And I'm very interactive. I'm a projector in human design. So if while we're talking, things are resonating or you have questions, drop them in the chat. And that just fuels the juiciest conversation. So this is meant to be for you. Look at all of you who have made the time to invest in yourself, in who you are and in your business. And can we just talk about how this is the job? This is the number one job. So let's back up for a second. Who I am. I was thinking about this tonight. I was like, okay, what am I going to tell them? Everyone, maybe some of you, most of you have heard how I discovered Beachbody 10 years ago, but I wanted to share with you, since we're talking about confidence, why I was the least qualified person to find success in Beachbody, so that hopefully you can see yourself in the success that I had with Beachbody, and then you can also take that leadership to your team and share with them the moments that you doubted and the fears that you conquered. So when I first found Beachbody, I was on government assistance, the brokest of the brokest. Nothing about my life was inspiring. I had no business experience. I took almost a decade to get through college, was still very unsure about what I wanted to do with my life. And I was just a self-proclaimed free spirit. I was like, where do I fit in this world? So no business experience. I didn't have a social media. This was still when Instagram was you had the 10 Instagram filters that you could put on a photo, and that was just good enough. We've come a long way. And so I had no idea what I was doing, and I had no reason to think that I was qualified to be a leader, right? There was nothing in my current reality that said, you've got this. I had a lot of, man, you've messed a lot of things up. So what I want to share with you are some tips and some tools. I'm going to give you 3 C's to confidence tonight to keep it really, really simple and help you see through my story and through what I've learned as a partner with Body and Beachbody, and then also as a certified life and success coach. I specialize in subconscious reprogramming, and we're going to talk a little bit tonight about how to start to chip away at those old stories and old programs that you might be running on and and you might be seeing them show up in your business, moments where you lack belief or you're in an old pattern of self-sabotage or not following through or whatever. So Alyssa, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad. I miss you so much. So I just want to get a few things out of the way. I love that Paige brought up that your confidence can wax and wane like the moon, right? It can be hot and then we can have a down day. It's very cyclical. So just know that that's normal. When you find yourself in a low moment, I'm going to give you some tools to lean into, because I do believe, number one, that confidence is a verb, right? Confidence is action. It's not going to drop on us. We have to be proactive and seek out confidence. And the beautiful thing is, I don't know if they still call it the power hour. I've been out of the loop for a little bit in my own world and own process, but the fact that those are the foundations are so huge, right? It always comes back to us, how we feel physically, how we feel mentally. So confidence is a verb, and it's more in your control than you think, which is a really good sign. So we're going to talk tonight about how to rewire some of these pathways that are really easy for your brain to take, that may be holding you back from what it is you want in your business. So while I'm starting to talk about this, we're going to talk about vision and stuff. As you have something, I know February 1st to me feels like a new year. January, we're still like, okay, we're processing last year. We've got a lot of birthdays over here. And I'm like, man, today I woke up, maybe it was you all waiting here, knowing that we were having this call tonight. It really feels like New Year energy. So I want to see, as I'm asking you questions about your vision, I want you to claim it in the chat. I want you to write it down and claim it. Other housekeeping things to get out of the way that I'm sure you've noticed that relate to confidence. People will have opinions about what you're doing, right? And it is scary to put yourself out there. It is so scary. I remember the first picture my husband took of me that I was going to put online, and I thought about everyone who was going to see it. And then I thought about this why, which I want to help you cultivate or get more clarity on tonight, because it has to be greater, right? The scale has to tip even just 1% about what it is you want and where it is you're going. And then we could end the call here. Don't share your dreams with people who aren't ready to hold them for you. Okay. For me, it was people very close to me, backed away, had opinions. I mean, talk about just earth shattering, right? I was like, oh, people this close to me in my life saying, you just need to get a real job. Like, what are you doing? And so I learned quickly that while I was building my confidence, I was only going to share that with people who could hold it. This group, Beachbody, this community in general can hold those dreams and pour gasoline on them for you. So hold them sacred while you're building them, and only place them in safe spaces. Okay. So number one on the 3 C's to confidence is congruence. So Brendan Burchard talks about congruence. What does that mean? This means perhaps you have a story that you're a quitter, or you don't follow through on things, you're not cut out for it, whatever. We're going to go into that a little bit tonight, because it is really important, and it is a barrier to a lot of the people that we mentor. When you're like, they're doing all the things, like, why isn't it working? But you can feel their energy that they don't fully believe in it. So I want you to also start to take a step back and get curious about maybe the things that were for you before that you've left or moved on from. How can we develop a different story around that adds to your power? Like, oh, it just wasn't for me. Some of you know I left a real estate job right before I started with Beachbody, and everyone in my life said it was the opportunity of a lifetime. I was literally getting this business that a family member had built for, 3 or 4 decades handed to me, but it wasn't for me. So I had this story that I had quit this thing. And so when Beachbody came up, I could have just played that same tape. Maybe I just quit. Maybe I'm not cut out for success or whatever it is. So remember that if things aren't congruent, they aren't a match for who you are or what you actually want. It's good that you burned them down. It's good that you left them. It's good that you failed at whatever it was. But tonight we're going to talk about how to cultivate a vision. I know Paige, I think you were on this call. I'm going to do an exercise with you guys tonight that might get you a little bit uncomfortable. We did it for Summit during COVID. And so we're going to start with just getting you in the feels of your vision. Summer Tucker is an OG. She was an OG when I started 10 years ago. It's OMMER. And she talked about vision as if it's a train. Like you are the train and you know where you're going, you know where you're stopping, you know where you're headed, and how electric and attractive that energy is to people. And that energy of knowing where your train is going, having that long-term vision, that 1 year, 3 year, 5 year vision will help those little, the person you're mentoring that quits or joins another company, or the person that you really thought was in that said no, or the person that returns their products, like all of these little bumps along the way, it makes them more manageable, right? Having this full all-in vision that you know what it is that you want makes all of those bumps a little smoother. It makes them easier to ride out. So I want to make sure you guys have something to write with, because I'm going to prompt you with some things, some things to ponder, and these questions to really help you bring this vision to life, because that is the fuel when we have the fear. That is the fuel when we have the setback. This vision matters more than your rank, more than the time you've been in the business. I know all the things. I know how easy it is to see the top 10, or to have someone in your town that's a higher ranker that's leading Super Saturdays, and to have all of these reasons in your little bank account of like reasons why this won't work. So tonight we're going to build this bank account over here on why it can work, why it needs to work, and bring that to life. Doesn't matter what has happened up until this moment. There's no more waiting until we've achieved the things to be confident or be a leader. Like, you are equipped to be a leader today because you said yes for a really important reason. And that's the first thing I want you to write down is like, why did I start this business? What did it do for me? What did you feel when you hit submit? Whether it was your first order because you were joining a challenge group, or it was because maybe you were like me and you're like, I've never used these products, but I'm just going to go ahead and go all in and be a coach, be a partner, right? Why did you begin this journey? And as you're writing that down, I want you to kind of expand on it a little bit. Why did I join? And then also, what is it that I wanted to feel? What was it about the person you were following that you decided to join with? What did they make you feel inside when you saw them? And how does that translate into what you said you wanted when you joined this business? So why did I begin this journey? And then what is it that I wanted to feel? Thinking back to when I joined, I like to pick 1 to 3 words that kind of just embody. They can be an intention for your day, freedom, clarity, confidence, power, certainty, excitement, hope. I remember just so much hope. Oh, maybe there is a place for me out in this world as a free spirit where I can find success and be messy and not have a PowerPoint and just roll with it. So I see some people still writing, and that's good. I'm going to continue to just ask you some more questions so we can build on this vision. So the next question is, what is it that you want specifically? What's that thing? Maybe it's the next milestone. Maybe it's this longer term goal that you have. What is it specifically that I want in my business? A sense of community, 20 people under me, Success Club. I know they've restructured the program in such a beautiful way so that it's more accessible and incorporates more indicators of success. But what is it specifically that you want in your business? And I'll send these questions to Paige right after this because I have them written right here just in case you missed them. Just keep rolling with it. You can even just sit with how you're feeling. Open up the chat while you guys are writing. Wild. Oh, first Success Club trip. Oh my gosh. That is so huge. Finally, after 4 years this month. Oh my gosh. So full circle. So many benefits to this business. We're going to get into that with the next C. Okay, so the next thing I want to ask you about this vision is, what do you see? You might want to close your eyes. And if you're not someone that's a very like visual person as it relates to, whether you see things, hear things, feel things, that's okay. But just imagine a day in the life of this version of yourself as a coach that has this thing that you specifically desire. What do you see? What do you see when you think about yourself? Are you smiling? Are you taking your kids to school? Are you on calls? Are you on the wake up call? What do you see when you think about this version of yourself? See it, and then as you see it, write it down, because you're going to need it in writing in a few minutes. And you can also just let this be a stream of consciousness on what it is you see. Do you see yourself spending your evenings different? Are you hitting a midday yoga class? Do you see yourself submitting that big chunk on your student loans? Do you see yourself pressing submit on plane tickets because this is extra money for your family to travel? What is it that you see? And then the next question, you can leave yourself a few lines in case you want to continue to expand on this after this call tonight. Thinking about what it is specifically you want to experience in your business. What do you feel? What does this version of you feel? How does it feel different? Is there a different level of confidence, security, excitement? What is this version of you when you think into the future? What does this version of you feel? You might also notice other things pop up that you're seeing. Just continue to write out anything that comes. No wrong answer. It can help to close your eyes. It can help to, also, I'll ask you this third question, because some people just feel and experience their vision in a different way. But what do you hear? Notice, are there things in this version of your day and who you are that you hear? Are you hearing your coaches on team calls, witnessing their own explosion of confidence and their own growth? Are you hearing challengers sharing their wins? Are you hearing the ding of your phone as people are saying, I want in? What are you hearing when you have this version of yourself and desire that you have in your business? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? And then as you're wrapping up, what it is you hear on this day that you're experiencing. Why do you want it? Why do you want it? Imagine a pebble dropping in the water. This is the simple goal, right? Maybe it's 2-star, maybe it's success club trip, right? It can be something that is a tangible real life thing, but we're going to watch this ripple effect unfold. What does that do for you? I've talked about this so many times. When you are in that place of confidence and certainty and in your purpose, how does that impact your household? How does that impact the people you interact with out in the world? Why do you want it on a bigger level? What does you being fulfilled in those ways, not having to worry about that car breakdown or bill, what does that mean for the bigger picture? How does it make you of even higher service to other people, which is what our confidence does? It adds, it means we walk into a room and we pour into other people. So why does this goal matter to you? And why is it of high service for you? I'll give you like 1 more minute just to rapid fire on that paper. What you see, what you feel, what you hear, why you want it, and why it's of high service. This is literally what made it so that I could just say, screw it. Whoever sees this post, whoever sees this, recognition, whoever sees me say the thing, why that no longer mattered. Because I was so connected to service. And when I realized that me hitting my goals meant like I was just a better human for the entire planet, I was like, okay, well, it's just go time. So take another 30 seconds. Maybe you hear some birds chirping, your kids laughing, cartoons playing because you're home and you don't have to rush out the door. Maybe you don't hear an alarm waking you up in the morning. Whatever is important to you. 10 more seconds. And then we're gonna use it. All right, finish up the line you're writing now. And I feel like you were here for this page, but we are doing this. Okay, finishing up the thought. Now, if you're not driving, if it's safe to, what we are going to do for the next 3 minutes is we're going to unmute. I'm going to play some music. No one will hear you, but you're reading this vision statement. You're reading this day in the life. You are speaking it into existence, even if your kid's there. Paige, were you here for this when we did this during Summit? Oh my gosh, it is so moving. No one hears anything. And it's just like, there's something about claiming it and stating it. So I'm going to get my music queued up. When you hear the music, feel free to then unmute yourself and I'll tell you when it's time to go. Also a power song. So I hope it comes through. You hear that? Okay. So begin to unmute. I will do this with you about my own vision, but this is your time. If you came to this call because you want more confidence and you have big goals and dreams in your business, I'm going to invite you, Brittany, Myra, Alyssa, Sabrina, Lisa, Shannon, Emily, Carla. I know some of you might be on your phones because you're driving, and so don't do that. But start to share those visions now. Paige, unmute everybody.
How do I do that?
I don't know.
Is everyone talking? You guys, it's amazing.
Begin to unmute this vision.
Find joy in the holistic life.
Feel Chris energy.
Movement.
Page team calls.
I feel
Need to feel reaching out and comfortable knowing I am effective.
Why did I start this biz? My purpose and identity has always been to serve the community. It has also healed me. How do I feel? I feel passionate
At
and
least
filled
10
up.
coaches.
What do I want specifically?
Going to
Women who are
successful
invested and
retreats.
believe in serving others. Income from my family by serving the
On
community.
stage summit.
What do you see? Relationships
team
with women all
calls.
bonded by helping each other thrive while
What
having
are
a
you
balanced
feeling?
life. What do you hear? Happiness, laughter, joy, contentment. Why do you want it? I want to belong in my purpose. I want to feel secure,
What do you
safe,
want?
magic.
My
I want to
family to
pour
be
into others.
equal
Because
to
I
life.
want to live a life that connects all
More into
aspects of
the
life.
Continue to read those visions, ladies. You can go through your list.
Wow.
Keep reading them. Keep going through it. Let it be a stream of consciousness. Why is it of high service for you to do these things? Show your kids what's possible. I'm going to continue. I, being in my purpose, inspired my children.
I want to lead 100 women by December
Yes.
And my
2022.
purpose and identity has always been to serve the community and also help heal me,
Field trip
visit
retreat
passion
February
again, filled up.
2024.
What do I want specifically? Women
What
who
do
are
you
invested
see?
and believe
I'm on
serving
stage at
others.
Summit,
Income for my
running
family
team
by
calls
serving
in
the
my new
community.
office.
What
What
do you
business word do
see?
you feel like?
Relationships
I
with
feel
women all bonded
fulfilled.
by similar purpose,
Feel
helping
free.
each
I
other
feel
thrive
proud
while
to
having a
be
balanced
sharing
family
like
life.
always.
What do you hear? Happiness,
What are you
laughter,
hearing?
joy. What do you want? I want to belong in my purpose. I want to feel safe and secure. I want to pour into other people because I want to live a life that connects all aspects of my life.
Oh, so beautiful. All right.
That was emotional, man.
Right?
Holding back tears over here.
So, I mean, how cool. I mean, seeing like the babies come in and just, every once in a while you hear a word and you're like, oh, I want that word too. Yes. Okay, so you just developed a ritual and a routine that you can do before you sit down to do your power hour. Power song, if you've been in my world, I love a good power song. Paige was showing you when you look at the leaderboards, it's different for everyone. But I love a good mind movie and a reminder of why we're doing this. It's like equipping yourself energetically before you sit down to go send messages to people, send share cards to people, like really taking care of your own energy first is key. So you just cultivated some confidence. You just did something really scary, right? You spoke out loud. You used this throat chakra and put yourself out there. So what I want you to do right now, really quickly, before we move on to the next C, is I want you to notice now when you look at your list, looking down at it, looking at the things that you said about how you want to feel and what this day looks like and who this version of you is. I want you to spend 60 seconds on what the buts are that are coming up that tell you that you can't have it. When you look at the list, what are the fears? But maybe I don't have the time, or I don't know what I'm doing, or someone else is already doing it. It's likely we all have a lot of the same stories, right? So 60 seconds right now, just to jot those down and see them and witness them and be with them. Bring them out from under the rug. What are the buts? What are the fears? Notice them. It's very powerful to witness them. And we don't have a ton of time together tonight, but I'm happy to come back again and work on some of that stuff with you guys. Because like I said, when I was at the top of my game and I was mentoring hundreds of coaches, now partners, it was always this intangible piece, right? They're doing the posts, they're sending the messages, but Steph, why isn't it working? And it was always these little insidious little buts that got in there, and these fears that as you repeat these processes, as you train your nervous system to focus on your vision, to take action in place of fear, which we'll talk about too, then your neural pathways begin to rewrite. So the brains are really old things. They used to think tigers were tigers were chasing us, and our brains haven't really caught up with how smart and evolved we are. And so a lot of times these things that we've picked up along the way on things that we haven't seen to completion or things that people said to us, they're the programs that we're operating on subconsciously, right? So this is like medicine. Every time we do our vision practice, every time we drop into this community, every time we choose to see proof that it is working, we rewrite these neural pathways and we wake up one day and we become the person that believes these things. So it's okay if it's hard to believe them at first, just like it's hard to do those burpees, lift those weights, but the muscle grows. So that's my hope for you. So I want you to just acknowledge this list. I used to call them my FU fears list. And what I would do that I give you for homework after this call is to take that list, and just a quick tip is like write out the opposite, right? I feel a big one for me 10 years ago was like, I feel like a fraud and like people are going to figure me out. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And so then the opposite of that was like, it's safe to not know all the things. Like that gave me permission to go like, okay, well, I don't have to know everything. That's why I joined this business and I'm not a doctor or a lawyer. Like I didn't want to have to know all the things, right? So that's your homework for after this is take that list and just work with it. You can feel free to post in the event page too, if something's coming up and you want help working through it, or like, how do I reframe this one? Or like, I just want to get this out and share it with someone else. You are not alone, whatever the fear is, I promise. Okay. Number 2, our second C is competence. This is a really simple one, right? This is what do I need to learn in order to become a master of my craft? Competence equals confidence. You don't need to know the whole product library. You can spend 5 minutes a day deciding that you're going to learn about one product. Share about it in your stories, share about it with the team, practice leadership. They say there's like, there's this thing called the vulnerability hierarchy. As you're growing into leadership, do it in places that feel safe. First, maybe share something you learned with the team or in a group chat that you're in, then with the team. Then on social media, allow yourself to grow into the leader that you want to become. Let your confidence grow. Otherwise, you will burn your nervous system out and you'll totally freak out if you're expecting yourself to push too far beyond this edge. You don't have to know it all, but you do have to be green and growing. So allow yourself just to spend some time, national wake-up calls, getting on other people's social media that you really love. Like it might be that competence for you is social media competence or marketing or sales. Just decide that you're allowed to continue to learn and that you don't have to know it all. You don't have to know it all. And I also want to do this quick exercise with you that's been super powerful for my clients. And we may have done this on, I'm pretty sure we did this on calls, building our evidence folder, but I also want to talk about resourcing and building this list of resources that we actually do have to help us build our businesses. So first, I want you to think about, so I use this thing called evidence folders with my clients where we collect evidence that we're on the right track. We collect evidence when we've had results, right? Either with your challenge in your own programs, in your own physical and mental health. I remember just feeling that hope the day I pressed submit and became a coach. Like I just decided to pay that forward and I let that be enough. And then I was like, let me learn how to make $100. And then I paid that forward. Like you have to allow yourself also at every level of this business to grow into it. So if you have a clean piece of paper, just as I'm saying these things, again, I'll send them to Paige so she can post them or make a pretty graphic out of them. But I want you to think about your wins, your clients' wins. I want you to think about maybe you joined today. You can go into a team page and see a gazillion results, right? That's social proof. And it also can help you boost your confidence in what the business opportunity and what the products have to do for people. You don't have to wait for 6 months until you're shredded from a new program. You don't have to wait until, like, how will we ever make 5K a month if we don't allow ourselves to make $50, right? We have to learn. It's like, I'm just going to hide until I'm great. And then you're like, but I can't be great because I'm hiding. Like we get stuck in this cycle, right? With our confidence. So I want you to think about and screenshot everything. You can go back again. You can add this to your homework tonight or for the next week or for this month to just begin collecting evidence. I have a folder in my phone. I'll tell you exactly how many photos are in it because I screenshot everything because my brain loves to see the reasons that nobody likes me or I don't fit in or I'm not made for success. So I will go into my evidence folder and I will just look at all the nice things people, it has 124 things in it. And it's just screenshots of people. Let's read this one. Oh, it's Paige. It's the first one in my folder. I need some stuff in my life. I'm like, screenshot. Thank you for being you. So grateful. Needed to hear that. See, these are really simple things. These are just little winks that are like, okay, it's a little ibuprofen when your ego is like, I'm not made for this. So you can collect it here. Like I said, even when it's not specific to you, it can also be things people are experiencing in the community that you can use until you have that social proof for yourself. But you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be committed, like I said, to making confidence a verb, right? And being in the experience of confidence. And then by doing this, by looking at what's going on with the team, the little small, every single small win, then you're going to create this evidence folder. Really powerful for your new coaches to do too. Have them track every win and just go back and look at it. You can, again, I'm big on rituals because what they do is they train our nervous system. Think about like when you first discovered pre-workout and you're like, oh, what's this? And now when you wake up in the morning, you even think about it, you feel more awake and you're like, oh, I can't wait. Same thing with your nervous system. As you start to do these practices, drop into your vision, have your confidence rituals, your nervous system, it doesn't take as long for it to drop into that confident energy. And that's what people feel. So the other thing that I want to share with you guys is this idea of resourcing. So you got your little piece of paper. Like I said, I'll send this to Paige, but I want to challenge you right now to write down 10 things that you have at your disposal right now that are going to help and contribute to your success. I will start to name things. As you're writing, feel free to steal them for, you might find that then one inspires you to add something else. Okay. Here we go. We're resourcing. Another great tip you can use with your coaches. We have the internet. We have Instagram. We have coffee shops. We have Wi-Fi. We have wake-up calls. We have team calls. We have top coaches out on the internet showing us how they're using their social media. We have our own upline. We have family support, friend support, clothes, food, a phone. See what I'm doing here? Like we have so many resources to help make this happen. So again, when the brain's seeing few things, drop into resourcing, drop into your evidence folder. And just a little thing to expand on as it relates to resourcing and the evidence folder is this idea of expanders. Raise your hand if you've seen or experienced a coach or now a partner that just experiencing them, you were like, oh, I could do this. Do you have that person? It's forever and ever, amen, Amy Silverman for me, Amy Mashburn now. Just like, what? I remember it was like my first year as a coach and I saw her and she was earthy and had this wild hair. And I was just like, oh my God, I could do this. The team I joined, they were all just like so glossy and these little Barbies and it was just pink. Everything was pink and black. And I was like, okay, I can work with this. But there was just this moment where it clicked in my body, right? I was like, oh, okay. If they can do it, when you're listening to those wake-up call stories, just notice the people that expand what you believe to be possible. And have them in your energy field. Consume their content if it expands what you believe is possible and close down the rest. Also limit it, right? Because you get to borrow the belief from these people while you are working on it for yourself. Same thing with only sharing the dreams with people who can hold it, okay? Okay, third and final C, you're gonna be like, snooze stuff. It's consistency, but I'm gonna go in further because it's not the same thing for everyone, but creating confidence through follow through, okay? One of the biggest dream killers in this business is comparison, and not in the way that you would think. It's comparison of the strategy that another coach is using. It's every Monday morning on the wake-up call, switching your plan for the week. All of the energy that's lost in the U-turn, right? Like, oh, I'll try this, and we don't give anything enough time to actually bear fruit. We plant the seed, we stop watering it, and then we plant this seed, and then we're like, I'm gonna do newsletter, I'm gonna, and we spend all this time like doing this and not fully applying just one strategy. Build relationships, get results, and invite people. Like that's it. The rest is just like shiny. How reels, like I think I've posted like 3 reels in my whole life. You know, it's like none of it matters. What matters is your energy, and what matters is what feels good to you so that you can do it long term. So I want you to think of comparison in a different way. This is comparison to other people's strategies. So what you're going to do here is hold that why close to you, that vision we talked about, and apply it daily. And then we're going to look at what your real life looks like, what those pockets of time look like, what you're actually able to do. There's a term in psychology called a minimum baseline. It's a great tool for your challenge groups and for your coaches. This is why I love the Power Hour, and I actually help clients not in Beachbody, not in body in this world, develop a Power Hour because it's so powerful. What's the very minimum that I need to do in order to say, I was successful today and I'm going to allow it to grow and breathe. I can always do more than this list. I think I have them right here. Alyssa used to do them too. Maybe probably still does. You know, little laminated things. I need to find them because they're, oh, here it is. I was like, I knew it's right here.
I have yours, and that's the one. I just did it on a team call the other day. I'm like, this thing, it's amazing.
So hard to see with my light because it's like obnoxiously bright. But this is a Power Hour for my life coaching business. This is a dream. You know, that's the beautiful thing about Beachbody too, guys, is you get to position yourself as a business owner. Beachbody, body, I'll get this down. It feels so weird to not call it Beachbody, but I really do love body. Is like a business in a box, right? You get to not worry about setting up an LLC and all of these other things, you know, systems and things. It's all set up for you, right? So what a minimum baseline is it's setting the very minimum you're going to do each day that you're going to celebrate the heck out of. And then anything else is extra, right? Because who can relate to feeling like it's never enough and there's always more that we can do? Because it's a little bit of the curse of being an entrepreneur. We have to learn how to turn off. And sometimes we don't want to turn off, right? We're like, oh, this is just so fun. But I want you can print out, it's a great time to do this now, beginning of the month, but you can do it at any time where you can sit down and look at the next week, look at a typical week in your life and write down the hard responsibilities that have to happen. I have to take my kids to school. Maybe you have to work these certain hours, your commute, doctor's appointments, all of that. Look at it realistically and stop trying to work 8 hours a day on top of that. Right? We want to find what builds confidence on a conscious level and subconscious level is training your brain that you do what you say you're going to do. So let it just be a power hour. So you literally begin to believe about yourself that you hit goals. That's why small goals are so huge. I call it the sticky note method because it is how I found success with Beachbody. Sticky note on my board, figure out how to make $100. Teach it to someone else. After that, I put 250 on top of that. Teach the people how to make 250. Then that became 2,500. Then that became $1 million in 3 years. Then it, you know what I mean? You have to just say, let me learn this and let me teach this. But you have to start with this minimum that you're just like, let me go all in on this thing that pushes me to my edge. Again, not so far past my edge that I'm setting myself up for like major crash and burn failure or nervous system burnout. Okay. So minimum baseline is making it so small that you can't not do it. That might be a 20-minute power 20 minutes for you, whatever it is for your life, find what that is and allow it to grow. Okay. And then I want to talk about, to wrap this up, I'm going to give you a task, giving you a couple homework assignments already, but I want you to think about a computer with a bunch of tabs open. Or maybe you're like me and you open up your Safari on your phone. You're like, how do I have 92 tabs open? What am I doing? What have I forgotten about? I want you to think about these goals, and maybe there's something you've been wanting to do in your business, a challenge group idea or a new training idea. Right now, we'll just spend 10 seconds of silence while you think about it. Oh, apparently my cat. Hey, Sunny. What is that for you? What's the task you've been meaning to do? Maybe it's a post. Maybe it's something you've been wanting to say. The one thing that has been an open tab for you. When we have lots of tabs open, the battery drains, right? Our energy is scattered and nothing is getting 100% of us. And it's okay to I'm a sucker for multitasking. My husband says it's impossible, but I just got a walking treadmill where I work and it's very, very nice. But it's important to begin to close some tabs, to say, okay, I'm gonna shelf that idea for 3 months from now. What I'm gonna focus on right now is this one thing and doing it really, really well. And making it sacred. Now we have this action that we're going to take. Let's take it this week. Let's take action on it. Let's break down what needs to happen in order for this to happen, right? Think about a challenge group. Okay, what needs to happen? I need to name it. I need to set up the Facebook group, or decide if I'm going to run it on the app or what I'm going to do. I need to post 3 times to invite to it. Like, we just get to chunk down and figure out what it's going to take and then fill it in this calendar that we've just looked at. Okay, that's it. I remember people saying like, what's the secret to success? And it's like, the secret is just that. It's just taking the action. It's figuring out how to have the courage to take the action in the face of the fear and make it sacred. Remember why it is you're doing this. It's not just to have your face on that little leaderboard. That little face sitting next to you sees that face on that leaderboard, right? That checker gets a nicer version of you because you're like, today I killed it. Like, I was successful today. I did my minimum. Like, I showed up. I'm going to do it again tomorrow and it's going to compound, right? Shout out Compound Effect. So good. Such a short read. So good. Maybe that's the secret to success. That's just it. Okay, those are your 3 C's, guys. Congruence. Are you in alignment with your goals? Are they true for you? What can you let go of from the past that is maybe weighing you down, that wasn't for you or was here for a season, a reason, or a lifetime? Number 2, competence. Grow that muscle, learn things, be a master of your craft, but let it be enough today to invite people into it. So much support. And number 3, consistency. Define what consistency is for you and build that belief through the follow through. And now I'm hot and red. So Paige, you can unmute. That's all I got. That's all I got for you today. I did pull a card before we got off. We can end with that because it's so good. I know Paige loves a good card too. There is a stream of love supporting my dreams. I pulled this deck out and it literally flew out and I was like, okay, that's our card. You were so supported. You guys are all in this room for a reason. And this business can change lives. It literally is the reason I own a home and am who I am today. And I just wish the same for all of you, that it can be exactly what you need it to be, and that you can be that light for other people and just continue to learn and pay it forward and learn and pay it forward. And you'll be speaking on Stages Summit.
Thank you so much, Steph. That was amazing. It's funny. I tried to find that same card that you just pulled out. I usually actually have that exact one posted like in my office right here, but it must have been, somebody must have walked away with it. But then I found this one, which is also so powerful. It says, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through a lens of love. So we all have so much light to share, you guys. And we're all so worthy of success in this business. Like, I want to leave you guys with that we all have it in us. And when Alyssa, she actually spoke about, hang on, she spoke to us about fast tracking to diamond and simplifying diamond. And she was so on point when she said that we all have it in us to do that. It's just a decision that we make, right? So thank you so much for showing us that it's possible, showing us the why that goes with it all, because that is really what's going to drive us, you guys. Like exactly what Steph said about doing this practice before your power hours. Imagine the passion that's going to come out of you when you go into the conversations to invite somebody to A, the coaching opportunity, B, your challenge group, whatever it may be, right? Something in you had you seated on this call tonight because you love what you do. So why not share it with people, right? Like that was one thing I was going to actually write it, Steph, when you asked about questions, but along the way, I've had more confidence, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, so maybe you can touch on it a little bit. I've had much more confidence inviting to a challenge group than I do to the coaching opportunity. And I used to have so much confidence in that area. I have like 6 ladies that I want to reach out to, invite to this event, and there's something holding me back. And I'm hoping that before you leave us tonight, you can maybe just give us some solid drop-ins about how we could manage that, because I feel like a lot of us can feel that way. Hands up if you feel that way, that you can invite till the ends of the earth to your challenge groups, but then inviting to the coaching opportunity or just to sit in on the information can be kind of scary. So even though some of us have coaches under us that do very well, it can still feel a little bit scary in that sense. So if you want to help with that, because you obviously built an amazing team along the way. So
so there's 2 things I want to say. People have built amazing businesses bringing people into challenge groups first. That's a really powerful strategy to have them before they join as a partner coach, to have that confidence, because people are maybe already asking them about their energy shift or, physical changes, or just sense this difference in them. That can be a really natural segue. And there are maybe not billions, there are so many people who have built a successful coaching business, mentoring people based on bringing people in through a challenge group. So that's not a wrong way to also like pour into mastering that, and then using your challenge groups as your warm leads for inviting to opportunity calls or trainings or whatever you're offering. And then for the person who is here that has the desire to directly invite to the business, I would ask you what the fears are about inviting them to the business. When I say I want to invite them to the business, but list it out. What is it? It might be competence. It may be a really scary but necessary move to branch off and create your own message thread. Maybe there's some energy in a thread or a page that you don't feel fully aligned with, right? Only you know what that is. Maybe you don't feel equipped as a leader, and that's your inner journey to building your confidence and knowing that we can build these skills. We can lean on other leaders in the business to help us. We don't have to know anything in order to join the business. I joined the business. My friend had been a coach for a couple months. She knew nothing. I surpassed her in a second. I never once was mad at her for it. I loved that she changed my life just simply by sharing with me a picture of her in Vegas at Summit. And I was like, wait, she's at home on the floor with her kids, and now she's all dolled up for just a couple days. That's what I want. I want to be here. I'm a homebody, an introvert, but I get those bursts of wanting to go out and get all shiny. And so she changed my life. She didn't need to know anything. I think I didn't miss Success Starters. I had a coach. I'm not sure if they still call it Success Starters now, but getting Success Club the first 3 months of your business. But it just is what it is. I was so glad she put it out there before she had it all perfected, because I needed it that exact day that I saw it, because I was struggling so bad, saying like, universe, just send me something. I'm open. I'll continue to take the next right step. So lean on the tools and resources you do have, but I would just explore further what the block is for you that maybe is scary to look at, because maybe it's calling you to step into another level of leadership. Maybe there's a competence piece that you can spend 30 minutes tonight or tomorrow learning about the comp plan, or, maybe it's, something that'll take a little bit more time, but knowing that you're ready to invite them, even if you joined yesterday, like the hope was enough to be a leader. I was like, okay, I can pay that hope forward. I can give that hope to someone else. So I hope that's helpful, Paige, with you specifically, and then kind of on a more universal level.
No, I appreciate that because yeah, we are doing a coaching event next week. So I do want everyone to feel like they either have somebody who's in their challenge group that's doing very well that they think would be really good at this, and just reaching out to them and saying, hey, do you want to come sit in on this information? Or if there's somebody that you don't actually know, and or that you have been building a relationship with but isn't already a client, and you think they do well with it and you want to bring them in as a coach. I've done that before. It's doable, but it takes time to build that. So at least finding people in your groups that you think might want to see the information would be, or hear the information, I guess, would be probably the best bet. But for me, it was the same thing. I'm sure a lot of us started as a challenger, right? I'm not sure, like, did you dive right into the business at first, or were you a challenger to begin with, Steph?
I had like no time to mess around. So I went straight to coaching and had never tried Shakeology. And back when I started, y'all, we had DVDs, and I did a little program called Slim in 6. And so luckily my coach had given me like 5 packs of Shakeology. And so I just committed to documenting everything, like in a journal. It didn't have to be on social, but I was just like, wow, my energy's a little better. Like, oh, my bloat. Like I was just like obsessed with paying attention to what felt different and getting results and plugging into things. And when I tell you guys, like the leading with the vision, I remember posting a picture of my daughter in a stroller, and it was so scary. Probably to this day, one of the scariest things that I've put on social media. And I was just like, mark my words, like I knew this business had potential. I saw people who were less qualified, less educated, less magnetic, like just like that it didn't make sense why they could do it. So then why not all of us? And I posted, and I was like, mark my words, a year from now, my husband is going to be home on these walks with us, because he was working 2 jobs. We were ships passing in the night. We still weren't able to pay our bills. Creditors were calling. Like it was an S show, right? But like people felt that vision, people felt that belief, and it gave me accountability. Then I was like, all right, well, I said it. So I guess let's do it, you know?
Yeah, and that can be so scary too, just speaking that into existence, but then also the follow through that goes with it, right? Like we all know what it takes to be successful. It's just the consistent habits of actually doing the work, right? So I really appreciate all of that stuff. That was very, very helpful. I'm sure everyone took something away tonight. And I can't wait to see everybody shining in their confidence and their glory, because we are all amazing. And it was so nice to connect with everyone tonight. If anyone has anything they want to ask Steph, go ahead. If not, I think we should wrap up here. Are we all good?
You can DM me. Let's be friends. Let's follow for a follow. Like I love the energy of people who find Beachbody/body. Like it's such a cool thing to be connected on that just core like desire for freedom, mental, physical, financially. Like it's just such a beautiful thread that we all are connected by. So I'm Free Spirited Boss Babe over on the IG. Let's be friends.
We love you, Steph. Thank you so much for your time. Bye, guys. Have a great night. Happy February.